and welcome to Solving Linear Equations in the form ax plus b equals c with qubits education. In this lecture, you will use letters for unknown numbers and solve 1 and 2 step linear equations using reverse operations and function machines. So, let me make that a bit clearer. An equation is when we have something called unknown variables. So they're like unknown numbers, and because we don't know them, we use letters instead, and we have to try and figure out what these letters represent. So for example, x, which is representing a number here that we don't know, plus 8 equals 13. Now, when we have something like this, we don't know what x is and we need to find out. You need to think, what is happening in this equation? In this equation, we have an x value. We are adding 8 to it, and our answer is 13. So all we need to do is reverse that calculation. Now, this is what we call a function machine when we draw it like this with arrows. You are saying what is going into the machine, what's happening to it, and what comes out. So if we reverse that calculation, we have to go backwards and we do minus 8. And 13 minus 8 equals our x value. So 13 take away 8 equals 5. So x equals 5. So that's a nice simple equation, and I hope you're taking notes. Let's try another one. So here you've got 4 different calculations, and have a go at them, pause the video and see if you can figure out what x is, and press play and we'll go through each of them. Okay, if you've had a go, let's have a look at the first one. We have x plus 9 equals 23. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to do 23 take away 9, and that gives us 14. So x equals 14. For the second one, we have x minus 9 equals 9. So, to work backwards, we're going to have 9, and then we're going to add 9 instead, which equals 18. So, 9 add 9 equals 18. So, x must be 18. Now, in this next one, we have 5x equals 30. So, if you have 5x equals 30, we know that 5 times x equals 30. So, if we've got 5 times x equals 30, we need to reverse that calculation, and instead we're going to do 30 divided by 5. Division is the opposite of multiplication, so that's how we reverse it. 30 divided by 5 is 6, so x equals 6. And then on this last one, I've written this simply, but it doesn't always come up like this. So I've written here x divided by 5, but normally in the exam it will be x over 5. And I'm sure I'll show examples of that in a second. So it'd be written as a fraction, x over 5 equals 7. But it just means x divided by 5. So we have x divided by 5 equals 7. So we need to do 7 times 5. Which gives us 35. So x is 35 on that one. Okay, I hope you got all those right. And let's move on to something a little bit trickier. So I want you to have a go at solving these equations now. They're similar to what we've just done, except I've written them in a little bit of a different way. Okay, if you've paused the video, let's go through the calculations. So we have n plus 26 equals 33. So in order to find the value of n, we need to do the opposite. So 33 take away 26 will be 7. So 7x equals 56 means we have to divide, because that's the opposite of times. And when we have something like 7x, it means 7 times x. So to find x, we need to do the opposite, which is divide. So 56 divided by 7 equals 8. So x must be 8. Z take away 9 equals 15. So we're going to have to do 15 add 9, which is 24. 9p equals 63. Another multiplication there. 9 times p equals 63. So to find P, we have to do 63 divided by 9, which gives us 7. And finally, as I said on the previous slide, this is how your divisions would usually look. So A over 8 equals 8. That means A divided by 8, which means now we have to do times. So instead we will do 8 times 8, and that gives us 64. Okay, so let's look at another example, something a bit harder. So this time you'll have to do more in order to find the missing number. Let's try this one. 3x minus 8 equals 4. Now we have to think what is happening in this equation. Now we can't think that the 3 goes first. The x has to be thought about first because actually it's what is happening to x that matters. So we have x and we're actually timesing it by 3 because it says 3x and that means 3 times x. So that's what's happening in this calculation. We've got x times 3 and then minus 8 and that equals 4. So this is a longer one. We've got two things to do in here instead of just the one. Okay, and the calculation is telling us that I've got x, I'm timesing it by 3, I'm taking away 8, and it gives me 4. So remember, to find out what x is, we have to reverse the calculation. So we have 4, and we're going to add 8. And then we're going to divide by 3, and that gives us x. So 4 plus 8 gives us 12, and then 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. So x must be 4. Okay. So let's have a look at another example. 5x plus 4 equals 29. So I have my x here, and it's being timesed by 5. And then I've got 4 added onto it, and it equals 29. So to find x, we do the reverse calculation. So we do 29, take away 4, and then divide by 5 gives us x. Well, 29 take away 4 is 25, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So x must equal 5. Okay, another one then. 2x minus 7 equals minus 1. So be careful here, we've got minus answer. So we're going to write the equation out again as to what's happening. So 2x. Well, 2x means x times 2. And then we've got minus 7. So take away 7, and that equals minus 1. Now, to do the reverse calculation, we're going to take our minus 1, and we're going to add 7. And then divide by 2, and that will give us x. Now, minus 1 plus 7, if you're struggling with adding and subtracting negative numbers like this, you try and think of it like the bank. So you owe the bank £1. So you're overdrawn your bank account by £1. So you owe the bank £1, but you deposit in £7. So you've paid the bank back what you owe them, but you have then got another 6 left. Okay, so minus 1 plus 7 is 6. Okay, and then we do 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So x must be 3. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at these equations and press play for the answers. Okay, if you've had a go, let's go through the answers. So 3x plus 5 equals 11. So x equals 2 there, so we've had to do 11, take away 5, and divide by 3, which is 2. We then have 3j minus 6 equals 9, so I would have to do 9, add 6, and then divide by 3, which would be 5. We then have 3a plus 8 equals 26, so I would have to do 26 minus 8, and then divide by 3, which gives us 6, so a must be 6. And then 4y plus 5 equals minus 3, so we would have to do minus 3 minus 5, and then divide by 4, which gives us minus 2. Okay, and then for this last one, now you've got to be really careful here because you need to expand the bracket first. Now I've written this here first. So you've got, when we expand the brackets, which you should be quite familiar with now, there is a video on it. So if you haven't watched it yet, please go back and do. So 5 times 2 is 10, and then we have the c, so it's 10c. And then 5 times 3 is 15, but it's a minus, so it'll be minus 15. Okay, that equals 19. So we have to expand the brackets first, and then we would reverse the calculation. 19 add 15, and then divide by 10. And that gives us 3.4. Okay. Okay, so well done. I hope you understood all of that. Thank you so much for using Cuba Education, and I'll see you next time.